Welcome in everyone to Betting Weekly Live. It's Thursday, 20th of November. You're with Steve Wyss and Jack Wright. We are very, very close to a mainstream return to club soccer in mainstream Europe, Jack. It's felt like a really, really long international break, my man. How's it been going with you?
Greetings, Steve. Greetings, everyone. Thanks for dialing in. Do you know what? I'm not normally the biggest fan of international soccer, but I think this time round there was so many storylines, so many incredible matches, incredible goals, incredible performances that I actually enjoyed it and I enjoyed it thoroughly. So it does feel like a while. You're right, but let's make the most of it because so we're going to go flat to the floor now, aren't we? Until into the new year, and so until the next international break, which will be in March.
Yeah, it will be. To be fair, there's been a lot of really good soccer stories. From a betting perspective, it didn't really work out for me, so that's why I'm pleased it's over. But we've seen the playoff draws today for the Euro playoff draws for the World Cup and the Intercontinental as well. Those matches will be played in March. The World Cup draw is on the 5th of December. We're going to be live that day, midday Eastern time. So we'll be doing that. Don't you worry, covering you in play as it happens. But good day. Welcoming everyone who's joining us today. Ray Burke, Botafogo was a loser for me last night. He said, we lost the daily double in Brazil. And Nathan Joyce did his part by advising us on the under 2.5 goals in the Mirasol game, but we just didn't get Flamengo. Even the draw no bet safety net didn't work for us. Just a second defeat in 14 fixtures against their city rivals, Fluminense. And we were on the wrong end of it. I always said head-to-head's overrated, didn't I, Jack?
Always.
Yesterday, Duncan Evans, Rick Ada, good to see you. End Off Line, that's a new name. I don't think I've seen you before unless you changed your name, but good to see you. Good evening. Welcome in. Mike as well. Jake. No, we're not going to beat you this weekend. No. Villa win. Aston Villa will beat Leeds. I think quite comfortably as well, to be honest with you. Not a great atmosphere around Leeds, but check out the Premier League show, which will go live in an hour's time, and see what Jack and Nigel think about it.
My hot dog in that game as well.
Oh, interesting.
Breaking news.
Leeds money line? I don't know. Let's see. That might be stretching it. Boggin, good to see you.
Farker we trust.
Boggin says it's an incredible international football. Just wow. Absolutely. When there was in terms of results, no doubt about it. The Paris FC and Arsenal women double did him nicely yesterday, and the Toronto Raptors -2.5 in the NBA. Talking punting, we're going to say that, aren't we? We're going to say I thought Flamengo should have had another penalty in injury time, but that was just my opinion. Puelo Charles, good day to you. Byron, of course, as well. Yesterday, it was a pretty quiet betting day, really, all round. There were some $6,000 wages on the Women's Champions League. Arsenal women, Real Madrid women, live over 3.5 goals. That was a loser. Same with Vålerenga St. Polten. Over 4.5 goals was a bet here at +148. That was a loser. Not an awful lot going on. It's just one of those days where there wasn't particularly too much overall of note. Someone did have a 50-1 winner, $20 play on Stefano Napolitano live against Otto Virtanen, and that netted a $1,000 return from a $20 bet. So it just shows that they're out there.
That's what you want to do.
To be found. So I love these little side bets that Troy just put me up sometimes. So notable live streams today, 4 Brasileiro games. We are going to talk about them later. I've got all the betting splits for the Brazilian games later. We might have some thoughts on those. Peterborough United against Stockport County. That is a match we're going to talk about very, very soon. That's on the live stream as well. We've got action in the Costa Rican Primera Division as well. Jack, I'm not even going to try and pronounce the two teams. We've got Hobro against Hvidovre, Denmark First Division, 4 Euro League basketball games and 2 AHL games on live today. So we're going to talk about the League One game. There's a couple of crunch games in the Swedish Superettan in the second tier of Sweden, relegation playoffs, and we will talk about the Brazilian round as well. Put down your best bets today in chat, or indeed bets coming up the next few days that you might want to get on early or something like that. A says he fancies Bath women moneyline are voting to score in the Women's Champions League there. Brad Betts, good to see you. Any NFL tips on today's show? Not from us, not from me and Jack. We'll leave that to the experts later on. And that will be Betting Weekly Live US edition at 5 p.m. Eastern time with Mike Carver and Doug Kazarian. It is Bills at Texans, of course, in the NFL tonight, Thursday Night Football. Phantom Jack, greetings from Huila, Colombia. For once, a fabulous international break, being Irish, but now back to the reality of being a Leeds fan.
Oh, no.
What an interesting play. Huila, Colombia. And he's an Irishman and a Leeds fan. That's a right mix.
Yeah. Standard, isn't it? Textbook, template. CMMUFC delivered in the Women's Champions League yesterday. Hopefully today's the same for him. But yes, Bogan, yeah, Barca are back at the new camp this weekend. Absolutely right. I can reveal that there's going to be an insider, exclusive pick from none other than Will White on the insider for this weekend from the Barcelona game. And me and James and Dan, I'm sure we'll discuss it on Extra Time tomorrow when we record in the morning. Anyway, let's crack on, shall we, Jack? Straight into the action. Yes.
It's often known as a bit of the short straw this day every year. But this year, we've got League One action and quite a tasty fixture, it must be said. Peterborough United against Stockport County. And in terms of the betting heat here, it's not quite a pick-em. But when you got plus 170 on the home team and plus 133 on the away team, it suggests there's quite a bit of balance potentially around the fixture. So talk us through the teams, talk us through the best bets for the match, because for once there's going to be a hell of a lot of eyes on this League One affair in England.
There is, yeah. And I think if you look at the league table, if you look at form, if you just go across a blanket approach to it, you might go, well, hang on, how can Stockport be plus 133? They were the losing playoff team last season. They're league leaders this season. It's very, very tight at the top. They are leading only on goals scored ahead of this. So 3 points vital in this clash. And there are only 3 points covering the top 7 in League One. So it's incredible. And obviously there's a full slate of action this weekend. So vital for Stockport to maintain their position that they get a win here at Peterborough. And you'll look at it and go, well, league leaders against Peterborough, who are only off the bottom on goal difference. Surely this has got to be there's a massive price on that basis. But there are a couple of factors to take into account on that. And let's say you're looking at Peterborough, they're 4 points from safety. They're only off the bottom on goal difference. But they have got 2 games in hand on the 4 sides directly above them. So they're going to be going all out for this. And as I said, there's a couple of key elements that we've got to take into account and probably is why the prizes are so close. The first one being a key player for Stockport is missing. Oliver Norwood, a player that people who have followed the Premier League and the Championship over the last few seasons would recognise that name. Probably too good for this level, but he's playing there this season. Arguably the best midfielder in the league. 4 goals and 4 assists. He's on most of their set pieces as well. Pulls the strings in the middle of the park. And he's out. He's out probably for a good few weeks. Could be until the new year. So that's a massive miss for Stockport, which will impact them. And the other element is a pro Peterborough angle. And that is their new manager, Luke Williams, who did very well at Notts County. He got approached and taken over to Swansea, where he started pretty well. And then it kind of tailed off towards the end of that campaign. He's now in charge. He's had 3 games in charge. A tricky FA Cup tie, first up, home to Cardiff, who are challenging for the title alongside Stockport. Beat them 1-0. Last time out, they were in the EFL Trophy. He rotated the sides, give him a chance to have a look at the other, the fringe players. They went to Crawley, and they won that 2-1. And in the middle of that, the real eye catcher in this league, AFC Wimbledon, another side up at the top end of the league, challenging for promotion, and they smashed them 5-0. A really, really impressive performance. Ruthless in attack and really resilient in defence. Now, that AFC Wimbledon side had only conceded 15 goals in their 14 previous League One fixtures. So that shows you that is a freak result for them and how well Peterborough did to get that win. Now, Luke Williams is a manager that loves to play on the front foot. loves possession-based soccer. He loves developing players as well. Very good tactics-wise, and also very much a hands-on approach and a very good man manager. And the interesting tale about Williams is when he was stood off by Swansea, rather than sitting around and just pick up his money, or you see him on different panels and pundits and podcasts, he went and worked at the local airport. He was just getting his hands on. So it shows you that he's that kind of grounded individual, wants to kind of get out there, not frightened to get out amongst the normal folk, especially after your side, they kind of took a pummeling towards the end of it. But he's gone and done that. And I think you say, well, that's very unique in today's day and age that he'd go and do something like that. So we've seen his tactical adaptability so far. 3 games in charge. He's played 3 different formations, a 4-3-3, a 4-2-3-1, and a 4-1-4-1. So that's going to keep Stockport guessing. I say a tough one. Stockport, in those 3-game windows, they also won in the FA Cup and the EFL Trophy. But the main difference from them is their league game in the middle of that, they got beat 3-0 by Jack Wilshere's Luton at home. A side, obviously, you're going to be seeing this weekend, so you can get a good read on that, what's happening there. But that ended a 4-game win and spin. And one thing you'd say about Dave Chandler, who's done exceptionally well at Stockport, bringing them up from non-league through into League One, is that they can be a streaky side. They can go on runs where they win successive games, but also where they fail to win. And this time last year, they lost 4 in 5 on the road. And I'm just thinking this could be that moment where, with Peterborough's momentum, they might well be the play at plus 175. I've got another play for the daily double that we're going to put forward. I'll keep that under wraps until later. Do you want that now?
Well, we'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, Stockport are interesting. They had a really pivotal game last weekend, a home match against Luton Town, and there was a lot of Stockport were the clear favourites heading into the game because of the form they've shown this season. There was suddenly quite a lot of expectation on them, and there's a feeling amongst the fan base that perhaps they could go up this year. And I don't think they reacted too well to it. They clearly missed the top player, like you said, Norwood. And by all accounts, Luton did a very, very good job on them. I still think Luton have one of the best squads in the league. And they're probably at the moment one of the best away teams in the division. Probably better away than at home, Luton Town. So for Stockport, that's a really big blow. And it's about how they come back from that. It could set the form heading in the wrong direction. I mean, that 5-0 from Peterborough is very, very eye-catching. I mean, this is an interesting league. I still don't know who I'm going to put up to actually win this league, Jack, at the moment. It seems to go in fits and spurts who's in form. Bolton, for me, looking really great suddenly. But that could change very, very quickly. So you're thinking that there's value on the Posh, as that's their nickname.
I think so.
But the element of the daily double that you're going to give us in this game is obviously a bit shorter price. You're looking into the goals market.
I like goals here. I've gone over 2.5 goals. It's minus 137 in its own right, which is backable in its own right, but we are putting it together for the daily double. And I just think for those reasons, we will get Stockport are, at this moment in time, the best side in the league. And they've been the best side, one of the best sides in League One for the last couple of seasons. And sometimes sides will just shut up shop against them because of that. But Peterborough won't, not under Williams either. Very much front foot. They'll go looking to attack it. So there have been goals in their games under Williams since he's come in, I say, especially that AFC Wimbledon game. And they did concede a few chances, just that they defended exceptionally well. But Stockport could take them. The element, as I said, with Norwood missing is key. But also they have got some very good players in there. They've got one of the best strikers in the league as well. And when you look across it, what I like about this is that last weekend's game was called off for both these sides because of international call-ups. So they will come into this fresh. And that 3 points, as I mentioned at the top, is vital for both sides. They both need to go for the win. And when you want goals in a game, you want both sides to be looking to come to the party. And I think both teams can score here. That's reflected in the both teams to score, yes, price, and therefore we'll go over 2.5 goals. And when you look at the general stats across this, both sides have seen over 2.5 goals cash in 8 of their league games this season. That's a combined 55%. Each of the last 4 home games for Peterborough have seen over 2.5 goals, and 5 of all of 7 away games for Stockport have gone over 2.5 goals. So goals is where it's at for me as part of the daily double.
because it's a match on its own in isolation, then there's a few more markets available compared to normal, including the goal scorer market and players score multiple goals. I mean, you've just said over 2.5 there. That's the first part of the daily double. It's minus 139 as a single. Are there any players that you could look out for here to take a sprinkle of pizza money on? And there's an interesting comment here actually from Mike. He said, listen to the American guys last night, and he had a laugh when he said they put Happy Meal money on it. Well, I'll tell you what, Mike, the prices in McDonald's have really gone up these days. So I reckon is Happy Meal money actually more than pizza money these days? That's a good debate. But I mean, Peterborough plus 220 the field on their players to score any time, and plus 195 the field any time scorer for Stockport. So I don't know if there is anyone specifically, or is it a case of the whole team perhaps could chip in?
Yeah, they are, especially for Peterborough. It's tough to work that one out to a certain degree because of the fact they've got a new manager in, and we're going to see a slightly different dynamic from them. You can't really go too far away from Wootton for Stockport. 6 goals so far this season. He's only one off the top as far as the goal scorers in League One are concerned. Physical player, expecting to give a few fouls away, but a focal point for them and could well score. Now, the player that I was looking for Peterborough wasn't priced up earlier, but I've just seen Harry Leonard is there now, so he's the favourite to score for them. So that would be
where 195.
Yeah, he wasn't earlier priced, so a little bit disappointed that he's gone in at favourite, but can't be expected. Can't be helped too much. But yeah, he scored 2 goals in that 5-0 victory. He only played a fleeting part of the game at Crawley. 7 minutes he came off the bench for that one. But he did score the only goal in that FA Cup tie. So of the 3 games under Luke Williams, and I like this, if a player seems to get a spark from a new manager coming in, then I like to follow him until they maybe go on a dry run. So he scored the only goal in the FA Cup win, and he scored 2 of the 5 goals in the 5-0 drubbing, and he only played 73 minutes of that game, and he was on the bench and hardly played for that game against Crawley. So he's fresh, ready to go. So Harry Leonard would be the man I'll put forward to score at plus 220.
Brilliant. I love that angle. Just looking through some comments now. Ming Chung, I'm going to talk about that Hammarby game in Super Entertain. But Boggan's giving you the perfect response in Venice. Incredible name there. What about Bayern Munich women plus 3+ goals? I can't even pronounce that name. It's some sort of Russian name along those lines. Anyway, welcome in, whoever you are. Let us know the bet. And Mike says, just seen Steve McLaren at Leeds Bradford Airport. We don't need Steve McLaren if we get rid of Farker. Mike, please don't. Oh no, working at Leeds Airport on baggage handling. I was worried there for a minute. I was worried. Well, but
I want him to go somewhere else with a better accent than a Leeds accent. No offense to the Leeds accent, but come on, let's go. Let's see where Steve McLaren's going next.
Yeah, let's see. Duncan says, "Get on the chair, boys, to win the League One." That's Wickham. They're 33-1 with
Flying
to win League One, and you could get place terms 1, 2, 3, quarter of the odds. It's there, Duncan. The favourites are Bolton now to win League One at plus 275. By the way, but Wickham are at 33-1. They're 8 points off the top. They're down in like 12th, but they're only 8 points off the top. Brad's got some great stats there about the Peterborough game, and goals do ring right, don't they? There, to be honest with you. Okay, let's go on to the second part of the Daily Double because we're going to Sweden here. These matches do kick off in less than 2 hours, 1 p.m. Eastern time. This is Superettan relegation playoffs. I'll talk about the Hammarby game soon. That is a very controversial fixture, actually. The second part of the Daily Double is going to be from me in the Norrby against Utsiktens game. Norrby at plus 120 on the money line, Utsiktens plus 180, over 2.5 goals at minus 157, and under 2.5 goals at plus 108. Now, the key, it's very, very hard to compare form and results when in these matches because you've got teams that have been in a higher league and teams that have been in a lower league. So one team's been winning and one team's usually been losing or not doing as well. And in Norrby's case, I mean, Norrby have been absolutely flying. They've won something ridiculous, like 14 of their last 16 games along those lines. That's the same stat, actually, for 14 of their last 16 games have gone over 2.5 goals. And they're facing an Utsiktens side who have lost 9 straight away from home. They've really struggled. They've conceded an alarming number of goals. So for me, the best bet in this game is clearly overs, over 2.5 goals at -157. You combine that with the over in the Peterborough game, and we get in a +182 double. This match is played on artificial surface in a city called Boras. It's the same ground where Elfsborg play. I'm sure a lot of you have seen Elfsborg in European action. And this Norrby team, I think Norrby will win, but there is not a great stat for the teams from the lower league. You have to go back quite a long way, actually, until one of these teams won the first leg at home. You have to go all the way back to the 2021 season, actually, when that happened. So there's a big edge on the teams that are coming from the actual Super Retten. In this instance, though, I do think that Utsiktens are vulnerable. Utsiktens have had a bit of a nosedive. 2 years ago, they were in the playoff to go into the top league in Sweden. They lost that first leg 7-0 on that day. They're not in a great way. Their finances are very, very poor. The manager actually gave an interview, Bosko Orovic. He actually said that he thinks they're going into the match with no anxiety and no fear. He says it's going to be incredibly fun, and he wants to see it more like 2 World Cup finals. He might be deflecting it away there, but it's kind of the way that he was coming across. It's almost like he was accepting of what they are. They're from the Gothenburg region. There's about 4 or 5 other clubs who are bigger than them there, or certainly 2 or 3. So it's a difficult environment for Utsiktens. I think over 2.5 goals here is, I mean, I do like Norrby to win. I think +120 is a big price on Norrby, but I cannot ignore the stats, Jack, from the last few years. It's been a long time since we've had a home win in this first leg from the teams in the lower league. So I'm going with the over instead. But I do think Norrby take this something like 3-1 or 2-1. And I think Norrby have a good chance of getting through overall. Bogan makes some interesting points here. 1 division separates the team. Norrby won 10 out of 15 at home in Super Retten, only losing 1 at Utsiktens. Well, exactly. Based on those records, you're looking at home win here. That's for sure. It is going to be cold up there. It always is this time of year. It has been for a while, to be honest with you. So let's see how that one goes. The other fixture, I think I've got a lead on Orebro. Tino bet at -125. Hammarby TFF. This is not the Hammarby team that finished second in Allsvenskan. So whatever you do, don't just suddenly think you're getting +155 on Hammarby to beat Orebro. This is their feeder team, and it's a controversial team. There's several folk in Sweden who don't think this team should be allowed. They feel like it's a competitive advantage. Every single player in Hammarby's side is going to be 23 or under. Very, very young team against an Orebro side who are quite historic, really, in Sweden, more experienced side. They didn't win any of their first 21 league games, Orebro, which is incredible. They managed to get themselves into the playoff. They scored a goal in the last header of the game in the last match of the season, got them into this playoff. I just got a feeling maybe the stars might be aligning for them here. Yeah. This is a matter of life and death for Orebro. For the Hammarby youngsters, it's not that important. But sometimes you want that youth, don't you, Jack? You want the younger legs. The support's going to be for Orebro. That's for sure. They're not. Hammarby TFF don't really have any fans as such, apart from the mums and dads. And the Hammarby fans just like to look over at the youth prospects that are coming through the team. They do have some very good young talent. Bjorn Hedloff, defender, he could be the next big thing for Hammarby. So you heard that name here first. I think Orebro will go through over 2 legs, and I think Orebro are a bet in the second leg. But in the first leg, it's got to be Tino bet for me on Orebro. I need the safety net of that tie. So yeah, controversial game, that one. It'd be like Arsenal having a second team in the Championship, and other clubs would be moaning. I don't think it would never happen over here, would it? But
no. They've floated that idea, haven't they? As possibly further down the chain, having that as a thing. It's always been quashed. And they obviously do they put the youth teams in. Like we talked about one of the last times we were on the EFL Trophy, having the youth teams in that. But yeah, to have it in the league pyramid, I don't think I'll be seeing that happening in England.
No, that won't happen. But when there's been such outcry in the media about this, that I you know me, I'm a bit of a cynical fella sometimes. I just don't think it would be a good look if Hammarby TFF got promoted to the Super Etten. So there's always part of me that's thinking, will Orebro get a couple of soft decisions here and there? Like, there's just something telling me that Hammarby are not going to be, not allowed to go up, but the odds will maybe be stacked in Orebro's favour a little bit more. They have a lot more momentum anyway. They finished the season strongly to get in this position. Brad Betts is right. Finland does have a lot of feeder teams all over. I mean, they need them there more, I think, in fairness, in that country. But the Orebro over 1.5 is a suggestion from the person whose name I just cannot pronounce. So that's not maybe a bad bet, actually. If you can get on that, on the team.
Wello says it's Miodrag Milinkovic.
Really?
Up. Yeah.
There you go.
I thought that as well.
Brilliant. And Brelo Charles helping us out there.
And Russian classes paying off.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so a reminder of that daily double. This is Peterborough Stockport over 2.5 goals and Norrby Utsiktens over 2.5 goals. That's in the Sweden Super Etten League today, and that match kicks off in an hour and a half's time. So you need to get on that quicker. And if you're watching on demand, you might have to get on the single if you're interested in the daily double part. By the way, the betting splits for that Peterborough game, I didn't give them out. 92% of the money's on Stockport, 79% of the tickets, and 94% of the money is on the over for Peterborough Stockport, Jack. So Jack is following the money there, following the logic as well. Let's hope we can get goals to cash. Okay, to finish the show, we've got Brasileiro action, Ceara fixtures, and we've got 4 on the board there. I've got betting splits for the games. I'm not getting involved with a bet in this league tonight. I don't follow it enough personally, but I know you've got some stats for us, Jack. I'm going to go through the games. The Juventude against Cruzeiro. Cruzeiro nearly even money favourites here, and they've been well backed in 84% of the money, 92% of the tickets. 94% of the money's on the over here as well, actually. You can get plus money on the over. It's that weird time of year, Jack, in Brazil where, everyone's fighting for something, it seems. So let us know. What is the most profit? It's interestingly, there are some profitable trends in Brazil, which might help us out. Let us know.
Yeah. In the absence, of course, of the legend that is Nathan Joyce, who would be able to tell us exactly what's going to happen in all those fixtures, we've decided just to go down the route of saying what has been generically profitable over the course of the season. So if you were to have a $10 stake blind on every single market, every single game in every market, this is what would happen. There's been 3 main profitable markets. All the rest would have returned a loss. From 336 matches so far played in Brazilian Ceara, there have been 49.7% home wins, which would have returned $120 to a $10 flat level stake. Your home win at half time would have had a 40% hit rate, and you would have returned $401 to your $10 flat stake. The most profitable, though, is your double chance, home win or tie, and that's got a really high hit rate of 77%. And what's more, has the most profitable return, $445 to a $10 level stake across the season. That's running at an 18% return on investment. So a really decent performance if you just bet blind on that. There's some options in that tonight if you want to see if that trend continued. You asked me if that's an anomaly or is it a continuation. The last 5, I've got the date of the last 5 seasons, the 5th one being a COVID season and therefore was cut short. But each of the last 5 seasons has been profitable to a similar degree on double chance, win or tie.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the actual away table, only 2 teams have more than 6 away wins, and that's the top 2, Flamengo and Palmeiras. So take them out of it, and even they've been actually losing away recently. The chances of winning away from home don't seem very high. There's 3 teams on the board who've only had 1 away win all season: Sport Recife, Vitoria, and Fortaleza. Vitoria, though, with that 0-0 draw, Palmeiras yesterday, that cost who was that? Let them down. Mbuelo Charles, that cost him. So we're getting to that strange time of the season where you're fighting for your life, and that's what Vitoria are. And Juventude are in the same boat here against Cruzeiro. Cruzeiro, if they win, they only go 4 points off the top of the table. They're not maybe out of the title race yet. All you got to do is win and hope. I mean, they've been given a bit of a help there from Palmeiras and Flamengo yesterday. So let's see if Cruzeiro can get the result. Juventude have been in good form, though, 3 wins out of 5. Cruzeiro have got the money there, but I'm not sure about that one. Bahia against Fortaleza. Let me just get the graphic on screen here. Bahia are the clear favourite here, minus 210. Fortaleza at plus 500. I mean, the reason here is Fortaleza, they're down. But looking like they're going to go down 6 points from safety now, but they have found form, unbeaten in 5 games. Bahia are in 7th spot, fighting for Copa Libertadores, things like that. But once again, is the minus 210 a shoe-in, as we call it here? 91% of the money on Bahia, 90% of the tickets on Bahia. This is where I wish Nathan Joyce was around to say if that minus 210 might be very, very good. It might be very, very bad.
I looked at that as part of that stat that we had about the draw. The home win at half time, to see if that was a viable play. And I think, from what I remember, Fortaleza have now drawn their last 3 on the road. So that's kind of, as you say, they're fighting for their lives. So as you say, we can't have Nathan on every show, unfortunately, when it comes down to Ceara, because he will certainly be able to go into infinite detail about it. But it's always an interesting time of the season. Every country, every league, isn't it? When you suddenly get these freak results and turn-ups for the books and sides fighting for their lives. So be interesting.
I mean, as I say, at the bottom, all the teams in the bottom 6, apart from Sport Recife, who are down and out, have found results of late. If it might be draws, avoiding defeats when you're not expected to. And this is something, we're not talking about this in mainstream European leagues right now, because we're nowhere near that stage. And the summer leagues are finished. So this is the only real league in the world. Maybe it's some other ones in South America in that they're in a similar spot, where, it's a conundrum for bettors every single time.
One piece of advice towards the end of the season, you can see which ones at the end of the season. I'm not going to say about as far as actual betting, but I always do double check when you see either game or leagues that have gone into then like the playoff element, where you maybe finish in a certain position and you've got the playoffs going in, or sides where they haven't got anything to play for maybe this week or next week, but then they'll then go into that playoff element, say either be it relegation or promotion or whatever. Sometimes, where the leagues get extended out, then you've certainly got to be careful. So try and look at those leagues that are probably maybe 90% plus finished, and work from it. And as you say, you've got some that you aren't quite certain, like you talked about there in Sweden, where you've got sides that have come from a higher tier against sides that are from a lower tier, and you look at the bare stats, and it might look an obvious bet, but it's not quite that simple when you factor in that they've been playing at different levels over the course of the season.
Yeah. Corinthians against Sao Paulo is, I'll put it on screen again in a minute, but the betting splits for this game, 66% of the money's on Corinthians, 72% of the tickets on Corinthians as well, 88% of the money's on the over. This is the definition, I suppose, if you can have one, of a mid-table battle. You've got a Corinthians side on 42 points, Sao Paulo on 45. Teams in 8th to 13th will finish in the Sudamericana qualifying spots for the South American there. Only 14th, 15th, and 16th have nothing in this league as such. Every other team has another outcome, whether they're qualifying for different competitions or getting relegated. It's a mid-table battle. And the final game, Ceara against Internacional. Ceara on 42 points as well. Internacional only 1 point above the drop zone. I said this yesterday to Simon Holden. back in the day in the Premier League, you needed your 40 points to stay up. Well, you might need more here to stay up. This might be the sort of year. I think West Ham once went down on 42 points in the Premier League.
Yeah, those are the days.
You might need more this season. International 37 points. You're laughing in the Premier League now. That's easily
get you in Europe.
Yeah. A Ceara +1 to an International +245. Not won for a while, International. But I can tell you now this: Ceara not that fancied, with only 59% of tickets on Ceara for this game and 64% of the money. We've got an over/under split with tickets and money for over and under. 58% of the tickets on the under, 74% of the money on the over. So make what you will of those. Hopefully that's managed to help a few people out with the trends and the betting breakdowns for Brazil. I'm in the same boat as Mike, actually. I'm staying clear betting wise. He's going to be on a hook at the weekend. That is for sure, though. Henry, good to see you. I haven't got anything on the Chelsea versus Barcelona game today. There was a few comments in chat, though, earlier about that one. So you might want to rewatch and see the comments on the live chat button. But that will conclude the show today. It's been a shorter and sweeter one, Jack. But all the action's coming, isn't it, this weekend? And Norwich have got a new manager, which you must be excited about that.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting times. I know he's a man that you're relatively fond of, so I'm looking forward to seeing how he goes about his business. Away game to start with at Birmingham at the weekend. I will be having some exclusive picks, by the way, on the Instagram channel in the Championship. So if you're not following over there, make sure you hop over and follow on the Because We Win Instagram channel, where I had a couple of weeks ago, I had a couple of picks that won there. And I'll be looking to put another couple of best bets up for the Championship or the EFL this weekend. Yeah,
I'm actually off to a game in League One this weekend, Barnsley-Luton. So I might
it's all about the glamour, isn't it?
A bit of Instagram content as well. And there might be someone else who does some Instagram content over the weekend at Because We Win. And that isn't just Nigel, by the way, either. So you might want to subscribe. Do you subscribe to Instagram? I'm not an Instagram expert, really. Follow, isn't it?
Follow, yeah.
There's the link.
There it is. There's the link.
And, of course, I mentioned it earlier, the Insider, the Betting Weekly Insider will be in your inbox tomorrow, probably around about lunchtime, US time, or just into the early afternoon. There we go. I'm going to link that one too if you are new to the channel. We've had a few new people in chat today, so sign up totally free. And you'll get this Insider. We preview matches in the soccer world and the US sports as well. It's a really great free feature. Bogan says, great show as usual, guys. Middlesbrough signing a Swedish manager as well. Yes, they've got the Hammarby manager. And do you know what? He's going to be a good manager for them, but he might need a bit of time to settle in. Kim Hellberg. There, so it's interesting. It's quite interesting that Middlesbrough have kind of nicked a manager, isn't it? After how their fans reacted to Wolves nicking.
Well, yeah, I think it's the first time they've ever taken a manager currently in contract somewhere.
They got angry. They got angry that Rob got nicked.
They did. They might well be laughing on the other side of their face, or whatever way you want to put it, with how that one goes. But we will see. Yeah, we will see. So interesting times in the Championship. They also gazumped Swansea, who were effectively going to have him themselves.
Swansea were getting him,
yeah.
So, Swansea were going to get him. But yeah, anyway, that is for the weekend, and we're going to see what happens there. As a reminder of the Daily Double, of course, as well. There we go. Peterborough, Stockport, and Norrby Utsiktens over 2.5 goals, double at +182.
Come on, goals.
Wasn't many other bets advised, but I did say Orebro draw no bet, and your other bet in the Peterborough game was, Jack?
Yeah, if I had to go with, I've got a sneaky feeling for Peterborough to win, just on the money line. But the main bet there for me is goals.
Oh, thanks everyone who joined live or on demand for this show. Do check out Betting Weekly Live US later, 5 p.m. Eastern time. They'll be discussing Thursday night football, Bills at Texans. Tomorrow we've got an interesting duo of Simon Holden with Nigel Seeley on Betting Weekly Live. So that's well worth tuning in for. And I'll see you next week where we've got Champions League action, of course, and Europa League action on the card. So I better dust down my gold jacket.
Blazer out.
Don't
say that to Barnsley, whatever you do.
Well, no. I mean, that'll be worth a fair few quid in Barnsley, wouldn't it? Anyway, thank you, everyone. Thank you very much, Jack, as well, and behind the scene producer Troy and John Izzard for the graphics all week. Appreciate you all. Remember to gamble responsibly and cash some tickets. See you next time on Betting Weekly Live. Goodbye.